welcome to Crochet Knits, loved by Jo. I'm Jo, and this is podcast number 17. 17! Ooh, almost up to 20. I didn't think I'd actually last that long, to be honest. It's hard work doing a podcast. You have to make sure that you're not too boring, which I hope I'm not, and keeping the content consistent, trying to have some kind of structure to it, but then I do end up going off on a tangent and waffling about random things. So I take my hat off to anybody who does a podcast consistently and all the editing. Yeah, I wish I had a bit more time. Job takes up too much time. I have a day job, full-time job, and obviously a son. So by the time you've done all that, there's limited time. I really am trying. Do you know what? I've been quite frustrated lately because I haven't been getting the time to knit because I've been so tired. Those of you interested in the migraine update, I think the medication's working, which is fantastic. The head's feeling a lot better. However, I think it's making me drowsy. So I'm trying to make sure that I take the tablets when I'm supposed to at night, make sure I get enough rest. Otherwise, I'm literally going to want a nap in the afternoon. So it's not causing an issue driving or anything. It's just more, I find by the evening, I probably could be in bed by 7. Absolutely sparko. So maybe it's because I'm a woman of a certain age. I have lots of ailments and issues. So yeah, that's kind of the last, I'm trying to think, 3 weeks. So much for doing it for 2 weeks. The plus is, those of you who hadn't seen the video in this last week, you've had the opportunity to enter the giveaway, because I have a really good giveaway, which the lovely folk over at Yarnworks donated. So I'm going to announce the winner of that prize a little bit later. So I hope everyone is doing all right. I would like to thank those of you who have subscribed. I do a little happy dance when I get a new subscriber, which is really stupid, I know. I've had a couple of ladies message on my last podcast. I read every single message that you put on there, and I will endeavour to make sure that obviously I love all of them, because I do generally, and put a little comment. It's nice to have that bit of interaction, because I genuinely do feel like a twit talking to my phone. I've got a nice phone case with like daisies on it, which is great, but you do feel a bit stupid. But yeah, I've got a couple of ladies from America watching, which makes me really happy, because I'm literally filming this in our bedroom, because I've lost, as those of you who regular follows, I haven't got my yarn room anymore. So I film here and on the south coast in the UK, and yeah, it's nice to think that there's people in other parts of the world watching my little podcast. So thank you. I appreciate every one of you. So I've had to write some notes because I wouldn't remember. When you first do a podcast, it's fine because you have all the content and you know what you've done in the last one. Now I'm on number 17. I actually have to go back and check. I don't want to duplicate what I'm talking about. Sometimes I will. Apologies if I do. But also I want to make sure that I try and keep it fairly consistent with content. If any of you have any suggestions, what you would like to see on the podcast, what things you might want me to talk about, I am not an oracle of knowledge, far from it, but I am a bit of a, obviously, yarn nerd and accessories nerd and all that. So yeah, comment below. I was thinking maybe a little Q&A on the podcast might be quite nice if any of you want to post questions on the podcast, and then I can answer a couple each week. Look at me, podcast each week. No, every couple of weeks. I thought that might be fun. Let me know your thoughts, that'd be great. So yes, I'm trying to think, was there anything, had I been doing anything exciting with my rock and roll life? No, just walking and working, walking and washing. There you go. That pretty much sums up my life. I'm going to put who makes these below because I think they're fabulous, but I genuinely can't remember. So this is my notebook. that I'm writing. Obviously, I'm actually documenting each podcast to make sure I can refer back to see what was in it. Also, prize winners. Please make sure, obviously, if I shout you out, so get in touch with me, please, on Instagram's probably better. Just so that I can get your address and send you your prize. There are still a couple of prizes outstanding. So, yeah, the last prize announcement, that's already gone out to the lovely person who won that. So I do try and get them out as quick as I can. Anyway, she gets sidetracked. This is just a normal notebook, but with a hand-stitched cover, which I adore, and I love dragonflies. I've got a real butterfly and dragonfly thing going on. And I'll put the person below. It's someone in the UK who makes these covers. I love handmade. I love all things handmade. So this just, yeah, that's my notebook. And I've actually been quite efficient, and I have notes purely so I make sure I cover everything. So I've got a few things to talk about. So one of them is crochet. As you all know, crochet will always be my first love. I do knit more than crochet now. And I have a couple of blankets on the go still for crochet. I kind of have to, because I have been exceptionally tired lately. These last couple of weeks have been shocking. I've actually been struggling to concentrate on more difficult knits where you've got to constantly follow the pattern. That has been really hard. So I've pulled out a couple of really easy. I've got a crochet blanket on the go. I've got knitted blanket on the go. And I'm just working my way through those. When that's if I'm awake long enough to knit. I am doing that thing again where I'm falling asleep knitting. God, I sound like such an old lady. Anyway, should we talk about nice crafty things? So crochet. I was going to show another blanket because I've got gazillions of blankets. I've got tons of blankets. But I have dabbled with making like little animals. I'm trying to think what ones I've done. I made little pigs, which I'll show on another time. But I don't even, literally, like, I'm really sorry if I keep hearing my stomach growling. I haven't eaten yet because I'm a bit stressy this morning. So yeah, I hope you can't hear it because it seems really loud. Sorry. So I made this for my son a number of years ago, and he still has them. And the reason this has come into my head because we've put some shelving up for him, and it's sitting on his shelf. Have you ever? So he's a Crochet Frankenstein, and the pattern is Maria's Blue Crayon. She does some lovely crochet patterns. She'll do like character type things, little projects. She'll also do blankets. She actually was the designer behind the llama blanket that I've shown on an earlier episode. How cute is he? I do actually think he's got one hand bigger than the other, but probably one fit. When you're doing these, because you're crocheting them in the round, it doesn't matter if you add an extra row or a shorter row. He's lovely, and my son absolutely loves him. He's been cuddled a lot, but now he sits with all his cool stuff on there, and he's still got this crochet Frankenstein. There's other ones out there, but this one I absolutely love because you make it in sections. So these, I believe, are, from memory, are 2 panels. And then obviously make the arms and the feet. And then you've got his hair, which is the spike stitches. And then you make the eyes separately. And then there's just a little bit of like hand stitching on it. But well, I think he's cute. I love him. And my son loves him and still loves him. Although he's like, 15 this year, so hangs out with his mates and does his skateboarding, his BMXing, but he still has a fondness towards his mad mum's crocheting. So yeah, if you want to do, this would be perfect if you want to do any Halloween projects, although Frankenstein is all year round. But it's a perfect make. I mean, you could make him and do, a different character. I can't remember whether she's got other characters, but I just loved him. So if if you want an easy crochet project, let's make a little Frankenstein. It's lovely. Right, what else? Oh, I was going to show randomly these little, has anyone seen the Yarn and Colours, which I'm sure you have, little cotton balls? I've got quite a few of these because I used to do the subscription for Little Box of Crochet, and a number of the projects that she had these in. So I'm never going to get all the projects done. So I've taken them out the boxes and dropped one on the floor, and have all these lovely colours, little bowl of colour. So you can do that with your odds and ends. I think a few people do that, put them in a jar. So yeah, that was just a random side note. So knitted, I talked about, because I'm tired, this is not a yarn bag, which the amount of yarn bags, I'm surprised I haven't got it in a yarn bag. These bags, not yarn related, but Mia Tiu, it is, designer, she does really useful bags with lots of compartments. She also does these luggage bags where you can put them in your suitcase. I've got a number of these, but it's perfect for this project because you can open it on the side as well if you wanted. But I had it in here, and I don't know why I haven't put it into a bag. It's just probably laziness. So this blanket that I've been doing for someone has just started their motorbike up, in case you're wondering what that noise is. Do they not realise I'm trying to record? I think this is about the 5th attempt of starting this, so I'm going to carry on talking. This is the Rock and Roll blanket by Black Sheep Wools. I've been working on this for a long time. This was one of my earlier knitting projects, and I've been knitting since around about the beginning of COVID, so what, 3 years. But this is one that I pick up where I have been tired. I can just do a couple of rows, and then I feel like I've had my knitting fix, but I can't really mess it up in theory. And this is, I believe they still have this blanket. I don't know if they've got it in stock, but they do still advertise it. And it's using the Shapeys River Washed. Hopefully you can see that. I seem to be pointing it to the wrong side of the frame. All these little 10 grams. These, like, you can get these in the big boxes, and they come with all the colours, which is what this was. And you never really know what to do with it. So I'm just going to warn you, there are ends, and I haven't sewn them in because I don't care. I do need to sew them in, but it's boring, so you will have to excuse the ends, they're a tad messy. So I've been working on this for several years. Not done a lot, have I? I have noticed though that my tension has got neater. That I could tell. But also it's a great, you can kind of, how many rows? Maybe 6, 7, yeah, about 6 out of, because you literally on this, you're just going back and forth. But 6 or 7 you can get out of it with a colour. So I really do have a long way to go, because I have lots and lots of these colours. To be honest, the writing's quite small on it. It takes me half the night to actually try and read what the label is. I mean, they are really small. So yeah, it gives you on the back of the pattern the colour sequence. Obviously you don't have to follow that, but I do it because it's just easier. And I also like the blanket. So this is my half asleep make. So when I really just need a little knitting fix, I'll pick this up. Hence why it's taken me all this time. But yeah, that's one of my ones I've been working on the last couple of weeks. Let me have a look. Right, shawls. Yeah, so right, I'm going to warn you now. I've made a few mistakes on this. I'm quite a perfectionist, but I tried to rip some of it back, and the yarn, it's like it's felting as it's knitting, which will make a lovely fabric, but oh, it's awful to try and undo. So I have left several mistakes in it, and I don't think it matters. I mean, it's not a gift, it's for me. So this is in my if you're lucky to get one of these bags on Etsy, well done to you. They literally go within minutes. I don't know how I managed. I've had this quite some time. This is by Gilly Makes, who's on Etsy and Instagram, and she does various different patch. I love a bit of patchwork, and on one of the prints, it's actually, you can't see so well on this one, but the dog is actually cocking its leg to have a little tiddle. And being a dog owner, I can relate to that, but obviously I'll show you the clean side. So that's Gilly Makes, and I have been working on the, what's the Shift? Yeah, it's the Shift. The Shift by Andrea Mowry, Petite Knits. And it is using, I'm hoping I've got a tag in here. Yes, it's using the Rico Creative Melange, whatever it's called, DK, which is fluffy, to say the least. It is, what is it, 53% wool, 47% acrylic. I would have thought it would have some, because it's quite fluffy and it's quite hard to undo. So I will show you these. The yarn changes colour, so it didn't start out as that. It started out as like a pink colour. It's just that, right, another ends warning. Yes, there are lots of ends. Look past the ends. Pretend they're not there. So that's where I've got to so far. I've got quite frustrated with this because the pattern's good, don't get me wrong, but it's a pattern I need to concentrate on. And when I'm really tired, I have tried to knit it on a couple of evenings where, to be honest, I probably should have just gone to sleep. So I have made some mistakes, which hopefully you can't spot. You might be able to. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because once it's blocked and being worn, so it's one of those, like those bandana types, so it'll be seamed at the back. It's lovely though. I am loving the colour changes. I'm going to really, really enjoy wearing it, but I just wish that I was awake more to knit it. And the last several days there's nothing worse than you getting annoyed with a project because then you don't enjoy it, and that's kind of where I have, not because the project is an issue, I'm the issue, because I clearly need to nap more. I'm sounding like such an old person. Well, to be honest, I'm not being ageist, because there's probably a lot more mature people than me who are full of energy. I'm just not that person at the minute. So yes, that's what I was working on. So that's the Shift by Andrea Mowry. It's my little project bag. So I am having to refer to my notes so I remember. So because that's not gone quite to plan, I have been, throw that out of the way, knitting. There's a shawl called Sophie Shawl. I spotted Tracy on Grocery Girls had actually knitted one. It's a purchase pattern, but it's not a difficult pattern. I just wanted something that I could mindlessly knit. But funny enough, I still managed to mess up one little bit. I have to say now, a little side note, Happy Valley. Who has seen Happy Valley? So I completely don't know where I was, under a rock for the first two series, and then the third series come out and everyone was raving about it, so we binge watched 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, it's, to be honest, a couple of bits were a little bit uncomfortable watching, probably a little bit too graphic, but the whole storyline and the acting was amazing, absolutely amazing, and we loved it. So I will sort of be knitting and look up, because it's quite a bit, because it's been so gripping. I've been like staring at the telly. I've really messed up some of my knitting, and this was one of them. But yeah, those of you, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's so good. It's just a random sidebar. Excellent. Doorbell's going. And the dog's barking. See, we know we're doing a podcast because Ellie's barking. So I have, I'm listening to it as, back in the day it used to be yarn deliveries. It's not anymore. I'm on a yarn ban. I do get the odd prescription, but not excessive. So anyway, see, I'm getting distracted. This is the Sophie Shawl, which actually looks a bit wonky, and there are a couple of mistakes on it. So that was my Happy Valley mistake. And there's a Happy Valley mistake down there. I blame you, Happy Valley. This is using Malabrigo Yarn, and I picked 3 colours. The shawl is actually knit in 1 colour, but I don't have enough of the colour, and I've picked the large size because it's big and drapey, and that's kind of what I wanted. So I'm going to try and sort of blend these in a little bit. Maybe I'll alternate the yarn and then gradually switch over to that. So that might end up being the middle and that'll be the other side. I don't know. In my head it's going to look good, but I don't know. But yeah, that's what, so it's, let me have a look, Sophie Shawl by Petite Knits. Go and check that out over on Ravelry. And if you search or do the hashtag Petite Knits, you'll find there's quite a few people have made it. So that's where I have got so far. It is going to be like a long, it'll have like thin ends and then a big wrap around bit. Also, why have I picked green? I very rarely pick green. Don't know. I thought I'd go out of my normal colours. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this because it's back and forth with a few little bits. It's a really, so like the I-cord. I've only really recently discovered that as an edging, but it's really makes the end of the shawl. I wish I'd known to do that because I would have done that on the knitted blanket. I would have done an I-cord edge. I think that would have really finished it off nicely. But sadly, no, didn't do it. So this is held in my big fan of Yarnilicious. I love knitted fabric. So not only do I love knitting, I like knitted fabric. And this is one of her project bags, which has loads and loads of room in it. And I also am using my little Knit Pro stitch counter, row counter. Row counter, it's not a stitch counter. Silly one. But yeah, that's from their Mindful Age. It's really good. The only thing I wish it was on a cord or something that I could maybe attach, because I keep misplacing it. But it's really good because you can lock it as well. So that's what I'm using, and that's in my lovely bag. So that's a project I'm working on at the moment. I have Arnie and Carlos, who most of you will probably know, have a 50% off pattern sale. And they have a really easy sock that has an afterthought heel in it, which I've never done an afterthought heel. But I like the idea of just knitting a whole tube, adding obviously the lining, and then, don't know about the cutting bit, I'm not so sure about that. But I like the idea of being able to do a long tube. So I'm hoping, because I've just got that pattern, to start some of them. So they are my projects. So should we do the winner? I haven't done a for a while ever. The prize, the lovely people over at Yarnworks donated Emma's yarn, Crazy Beautiful Super Silky Yarn. How nice is that? Which was called Pine and Poinsettias, but it's not just for Christmas. But it's a good idea if you want it. Do you know what? Don't make it as a gift, make yourself something. There's quite a few commented. I really, really appreciated you taking part. And our official judge, Jake, picked out a prize winner. And the prize winner for this is Chaos and Kismet. So I'm going to put the name underneath, just in case I haven't said it right, because we know how good I am with pronunciation. You are our prize winner. Well done. This is going to wing its way over to you. If you can message me on Instagram ideally, and let me have your address, and I will get that out in the post to you as soon as possible. I would like to keep it, but I'm not. Thank you again to Yarnworks who donated this. I really, really appreciate it. It's a lovely skein of yarn, and I appreciate your support. And go and check them out. They sell some lovely projects. So that is that one. So congratulations. So I've got I'm going to donate one of my skeins of yarn So I discovered this yarn dyer before I actually became yarn dyer, and this lady is local to me in the same area, which was very exciting. And the yarn dyer is Chintz Pies. See that there? So, and this is 100 grams of sock yarn, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and it's the lovely twist. So this knits up really nice, and I think it looks a bit Harry Potter colours if you're into Harry Potter. So what we will do, it's actually called Sunnydale, but obviously I'm saying it's like Harry Potter, it's got some speckles. So this is going to be the prize for this podcast, which I will announce next podcast. So comment below what your favourite Harry Potter character is, if you're into Harry Potter. If not, what is your favourite film? There you go. So I won't just keep you out if you're not into Harry Potter, but what's your favourite film or your favourite Harry Potter character? And then my lovely judge Jake will pick a name. I know at some point he's going to go, Mum, I'm getting bored now. But at the minute he still participates, so thanks Jake. And if I get too many comments, I will have to do like a number generator, because yeah, it might get a little out of hand, and I want it to be fair. So that is the prize for this podcast. So yeah, good luck, and make sure you're a subscriber and comment below to be in for a chance of winning it. So that is that one. What else was I going to show? I can't remember, even though I've got my book here. Right, so I was going to right, come on, I'm saying right a lot. So I'm obviously being really good buying yarn. No, I'm bored with that. I get nothing nice now in the post. It's very miserable. I'm not sure how long it'll last, but obviously, as you can see, I do have quite a few skeins of yarn. I am enjoying going through my yarn, so I'm being a good girl. But I did get a kit. So Cookston Crafts, I've mentioned before, does a like a treat box, which you can have goodies in it or have yarn. And so if you haven't seen, was it January? If you haven't seen the last treat box and you don't want to know, look away, because I'm going to show the colour. It has been long enough that you should have got them in theory. So randomly, I like peacocks as well as dragonflies and butterflies. They've got attitude, and I didn't realise that the stunning ones were actually the males, I believe, and the not so pretty ones are the women. That's not fair, is it? Because the peacocks are stunning when they with their feathers. I was trying to think what it was. Yeah, it's feathers, isn't it? Anyway, I digress. So her colourway is peacock, and I've picked double knit because although I have a lot of sock yarn, I love double knit socks. How nice is this? Oh, I love this. And it's got teal in it, and it's got turquoise in it, and greens, and you know, a bit of, how nice is that? She's spot on with her colour matching with this. So this is Cookston Crafts in Aberdeenshire. Go and check her website out, because she does really, really nice treat boxes. And this was obviously the latest colourway, and you don't know what the colourway is, and I like that. I know some people like to know what they're getting, but I've never ever been disappointed in the yarn here. So go and check her out. Stunning. So that's peacock, which hopefully I'm hoping she'll have as part of her range, because I can't wait to knit this up. But that's, as you can see, I haven't even wound it up yet, but I'm thinking a pair of socks, definitely in that. Double knit socks are lovely, proper, keep your feet warm. So that's that. So I mentioned before my yarn bag. So Yarnilicious, I'm a big fan of. There's quite a few yarn bag makers out there that I think are fun. To be honest, you're all amazing. The fact you can do it, I couldn't do it. But she always, if you follow her over on Instagram, you'll see she's always bringing out new designs of bags. So I've got several of her bags, this being one of them, in my favourite fabric. So she brought out a maker's pouch and has made one with the knitted fabric, which I love. Looks like a sort of clutch bag, doesn't it? This is the Maker's Pouch, which she has over on her website. It's worth following her because if she's out of stock, she'll bring another one back. Or also, she does do some custom orders, so which is worth knowing. And it's got this lovely pink fabric. So I'm going to try and hopefully show this to you properly on camera. So it has a couple of press studs there. Yeah, I'm just making sure that. So it's going to be really noisy. And it has the zipped pouch part. Look at that. You know, like the shower, is it like the wash bags you get where you drop, this is the same kind of principle, but has much nicer stuff in it. How nice is that? I love it. Obviously it doesn't house all the needles, but I've put like my DPNs in there, my crochet hooks. I've never had something where I've been able to mix both crochet and knitting. I've always had like, that's my crochet thing and that's my knitting. So this has my circular needles. I have obviously my favourites here. One of my favourites, Chalgoo. I've got some fixed ones there. I have Knit Pros and I have Addy ones. So I've got all, they're like my favourites that I use out of, yeah, I don't tend to use many others. It has pockets at the back. So I've got my little teeny tiny Chalgoos. I did have them in the main thing, but I didn't have room for them, so they're perfect. They sit in there. Hoping you can see that all, because obviously I can't see what you can see because I'm looking at the phone case. And then in here, this is the zipped compartment that you will have your stitch markers in. I was hoping I'd got one of my new tins to show, but I haven't. And I have, you know, I'll keep like my little, these are nice from Botanical Yarn. I've tipped my bag up, it's all really full. That has the little, it's all going to plan. My little ringed stitch markers. I use them a lot. They're also now a selection on the floor. That's where I'll be after this, picking all the bits up. And I have my little scissors here. I'm terrible, I love little pouches and gadgets and accessories. And then I have also my emergency crochet hooks, which are always a matter with me. Sorry about that. I've just dropped my DPNs all on the floor. So this is great, this, but don't tip it up like I've just done. As you can see, I did have DPNs in there. They're all currently on the floor. I am such a professional. I still think I should be on telly. I'm that good. Said no one ever. But yeah, so I've got little tins, love sheet, my little stitch markers, and I've also got, what else have I got in here? It's like going shopping finally, and I keep these on here because I haven't actually taken them off the ring. So Yarnistry shop over on, you can find them over, where are you, website. Let me show that. I can't even speak, can I? Hope you can see that. It's just fantastic stitch markers, and I've got some on the rings, some on the like the claws. I can never remember if, because I am not a one woman project and have several on the go, this actually has the sizes so I can put them on for my needles or my crochet hooks, because I never remember. Cannot believe, honestly, all my stuff's over the floor. So that's them. So yeah, it's fantastic. Just don't tip it upside down like I've just done, which most normal people wouldn't. But yes, that's my Maker's Pouch, which I absolutely love. Like really, really love. It's stunning. That's that, so go and check them out. I mean, they're not a cheap purchase, but as like an investment or a long-term thing, this is perfect for me because it houses both my crafts. So win-win. What else have I got in the book? Can't show you that because I've actually left it downstairs. I'll show you that next week. One other thing I have, because I have been referred to, those of you who watch Friends, Monica with her crazy organising. Just, yeah, I can be like that. I love a bit of organisation. I'm still not always organised though. That's a bit random. This board. It's not a board. It's made out of, I believe, this craft. I don't actually know what the actual stuff is. I can't remember, but it's by Coco Knits. They do really great accessories. So I'm not obviously going to show, because I've got the pattern, it's paid for pattern. I've got obviously Andrea Maury's, but it comes with magnets. I can show you the bottom one because that's not showing anything. So it folds out, but it also stands up like that. I'll show you that with the ruler, and has the magnets, and also the little magnets on it means I've actually got a row counter, which is Coco Knits, and that's similar to the Knit Pro where you can lock it. Because this has involved quite a bit of counting, I've got everything there, and it comes with loads of magnets, and I've got the ruler, and I've also got the emergency for when you drop your stitch little crochet hook. That is it's also got a pocket behind. It's got the magnet, but it's also got you know, you could slot behind it. There's like magnetic sheets in it. So this is really, sorry, I just don't want to show the pattern. Actually, let me take the pattern off. But I will blame you all when I can't remember where I'm at, which is probably going to be quite... There we go. Let's show you this way, because I'm not helping, am I, really? So it's got magnetic sheets in the back, and all of the accessories have magnets on them. This is really good tool. These sort of things are perfect. Is drop it in at Christmas or birthday, because I do, and it's not yarn. So whilst Carlos said no more yarn, I'm not buying you any more yarn, even though he's actually been the yarn enabler, he hasn't said no to accessories. So that's how I can, they're good presents. And that's also Coco Knits. That's their you know, when you find out your size of your needles or hooks. I can't think what it's called. You know what I mean. I feel like I'm getting worse at podcasts. I really do. What am I like? So yeah, that was one of the accessories I wanted to show. Trying to think. I think that is everything. I've bound to have forgot something, haven't I? Sorry if I have. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. I do feel I've been a bit slightly mad in this one. Pretty much normal. What you see is what you get with me. There's no airs or graces. So I'm going to go and clear the mess that I've made, obviously, because I've emptied half the bag on the floor. And I hope to see you really soon. Don't forget to enter the competition to win a skein of yarn. It doesn't cost you anything, just a couple of minutes time. Comment below, and yeah, give me some feedback if there's anything you would like to see on the podcast, and if there's any questions, that might be quite a fun little feature. And I hope that you all have a really good couple of weeks, and that you get to have some quality crafting time, or rest, or reading, or walk. Good to get the work-life balance. Doesn't always work, but it's important. Time's very precious, isn't it? So anyway, it's very deep, wasn't it? Have a great couple of weeks. I will be back before you know it, and you take care. Bye.